Hello there. Here we are again at another old principal English lesson. This is lesson 73, Moving West. And so we bring on our storyteller. And are you ready to tell us a story?
Of course.
Okay. So this is actually not my story, but my grandfather's story, or at least a story about my grandfather.
Yes.
Okay.
When my father was very, very young, just a few years old, my grandfather decided to move his family out to the West Coast. In those days, there wasn't a nice highway system like there is now. Cars were a new invention, and most roads were not much more than well-worn paths. My grandfather was one of the first persons to drive a car trans-America. His car was a Model A Ford. And since this was a very special journey, he wrote a book about their adventures along the way. He packed his whole family, 5 children, he and his wife, and a maid, into the car. Also stacked in were clothes, food, extra gasoline, and tools for repairing the car. The most important household belongings were shipped by boat. As they traveled westward, they often got stuck in the muddy roads. Many times they were obliged to ask farmers with horses to pull them out. How embarrassing! The popular new horseless carriage was not as capable in coping with the muddy roads as was the horse and carriage. One of the funniest things that happened went like this. They stopped one night to camp, and of course they set up a tent. Grandma and the younger children slept inside the car, while grandfather and the older children slept in the tent. In the middle of the night, a violent thunderstorm struck the area. The wind tried to blow away that tent, and the rain fell in bucketfuls. When grandfather woke up, it was already too late. He grabbed at the wildly flapping tent to keep it from blowing away, and then made a discovery. He did not have his pants on. Flashes of lightning revealed grandfather desperately trying to put on his pants and to hold the tent down at the same time. Eventually, they arrived in Oregon and settled in a little town called Corvallis. That's where my father grew up, and where I was born in 1943.
Thank you. Now, I do know that you've been there to Corvallis, so I know that.
Yes.
Okay. Here we go. Moving west, 往西部. Okay. 搬家. When you move a home, let's say I'm going to move from one city to another city, it's to move. But of course, moving has many, many different meanings. Here, to move simply means 搬家. My grandfather lived on the East Coast. 他是在东部. Okay, and he's going to move to the West Coast. How many? Maybe upwards 4,000 or 5,000 kilometers. I mean, it's a long, long journey. Okay? Okay, so here we go. When my father was very, very young. That's too bad. I actually, when Mrs. Ash was reading the story, I actually have a picture of my father at this time. My father was only about 3 or 4 years old. 3 or 4 years old. 有一点胖胖的, It was very, very good. Later on, he would not be pang pang, but At this time, his hair was curly. 他的头发会卷卷的 Okay? Well, he was just a few years old, 几岁的时候 my grandfather decided to move his family out to the West Coast. So my grandfather was he was a civil engineer, 土木工程师 Okay? He was an engineer. In those days, engineers designed 就设计一个桥，好比说 and then they built it themselves. Okay? So in those days, you did everything as an engineer. He decided to move his family out to the West Coast, 到西岸，西海岸去。Of course, you could say the Wild West, because it was not so many people on the West Coast in those days. Going on, in those days, there wasn't a nice highway system, 公路系统, okay? Nice meaning good. There wasn't a good highway system like there is now. Of course, we have 高速公路, we have freeways, and the roads are very big and very nice. And in those days, no, they just didn't have it. Okay, going on. Cars were a new invention. 汽车是新发明的 Okay, 新发明的 So it's a new invention. And most roads were not much more than well-worn paths. Okay? 大部分的路只不过是 what? Not more than 踩出来的土路 you know, just a small path. It wasn't a road. It didn't have anything on it. It was just ground. So it was a path. 踩出来的 So they, you know, if you walk over some green grass, let's say you're on a maybe at a school and you have a lot of 草地 Okay? And sometimes students, they don't follow the 人行道. They don't follow this. They go straight across the grass. What happens? Okay, the more you walk on the grass dies and it becomes a path. Okay? So that's what a path is. Going on. My grandfather was one of the first persons to drive a car trans-America. Maybe he wasn't the first, but one of the 其中最早的 okay, persons to drive a car trans-America. Do you know what trans-America means? To go across. To go across America. Trans-America. His car was a Model A Ford. 他的车子是一个 Model A 型的福特 Okay? A 型的福特 Going on. Okay, let's go on here. And since this was a very special journey, of course, it would be a special journey. Why? Because you're taking your whole family. We're moving. You know, it's like, bye-bye, we're leaving, we're going, we're leaving. Okay? So, a special journey. He wrote a book about it. Okay? So, my grandfather was also a very interesting person. And he was a good writer. Someday I will tell you something that he invented in America or made popular in America, but I can't tell you now because that's a different story. Okay? And so he wrote a book about their adventures. What is an adventure? An adventure is all the interesting things that happen. I like adventure. If I say I like adventure, that means I like to do lots of interesting things. Okay? And so he wrote a book about their interesting things that happened to them or their adventures along the way, 在路上, 路途中, along the way. Going on, he packed his whole family, okay? He packed, okay? Usually, pack means just to 装，把东西装在盒子里面. But sometimes if you talk about people packed in, 这个形容是更加好一点点。等于说 pack in means that there were lots of people inside. Well, you look at this. 5 children inside. 5 children. He and his wife, mother and father, and a maid, 佣人. So let me see. So you got 5, 2, and 1. That's 8 people. This is not a modern car. This car is a very old Model A car. Okay. Now you have all these people in the car. 还有呢? Next. He also stacked in were clothes, of course, 衣服, food, okay? Now, along the way, he would buy food. But you always had to carry a certain amount of food. So he stacked in were clothes and food. Extra gasoline, 汽油. Yeah, you got to have extra. 一定要预备the 汽油. And what else? Tools for repairing the car. The car, because the road was bad. 这个路面不平，因此呢，经常这个车子就坏掉。So he had to repair the car. Okay. The most important household belongings, 他们的家产，最重要的家产，他们是用船运。But they themselves went by car. Going on. As they traveled westward, 当他们往西部旅行的时候, they often got stuck in muddy roads. Remember in the past we talked about choose your ruts carefully? Well, they got stuck in 泥泞的路边, 他们就 stuck. To get stuck, okay? Stuck means they were 陷在这个泥泞中了, okay? Many times they were obliged, okay? And maybe several different translations of obliged. 他们必须要 what? 请农人, okay, with horses to pull them out, okay? So the horses would have to pull them out of the mud. Okay, going on. Okay, traveling stuck and horses had to pull them out of it. Okay, moving on. How embarrassing. 非常非常不好意思. Why? Because here you have the popular new horseless carriage. Okay, now, what is a horseless carriage? Well, horseless means no horse. Okay, carriage is 车子. Okay, the no horse 车子, or the car without a horse. Okay, was not capable, 不能够应付. Okay, not capable of coping with the muddy roads, 泥巴路, 泥泞的路, as the horse and the carriage. Of course, 这个马和这个马车 much more capable of taking and coping with bad situations during this time. Now, of course, there's no problem. The opposite would be the problem. Horses would not like to go on the roads. Today we have 高速公路, 大公路, 等等等, and horses would not be appropriate. But in those days, horses were very important on horseless carriages. Going on. One of the funniest things that happened went like this. 最好笑的事情是这样发生的. Okay? They stopped one night to camp. Of course, they had to camp. 他们要露营. Okay? And they set up a tent. 他们是打帐篷. Going on. Grandma and the younger children slept inside the car. Why is that? Because inside the car was more comfortable. Inside a tent, not so comfortable. Well, at least that's what I think. Okay? So the grandma, and the little children, my father included, 包括我的爸爸, slept in the car, while grandfather and the older children slept in the tent. 他们是睡那个帐篷里面的. Go ahead. In the middle of the night, a violent thunderstorm came. Okay? 一场雷暴风雨. Okay? A violent thunderstorm. 雷 thunder, storm. Okay? 暴风雨. Okay? Violent. Very, very strong. Very, very strong. Usually during these violent thunderstorms, the wind is very strong. Now, it doesn't last long, but it is quite strong. Okay? It struck the area. Struck. 就论到那个地方啊，就是跑到那个地方. The wind tried to blow away the tent. Okay? The wind tried to take the tent, 这个帐篷, and 把它飞走. 吹飞走. 飞到不晓得飞到哪里去. Okay? And the tent, and the rain fell in bucketfuls. Chinese, we say 倾盆大雨. Okay? 下大雨了. Okay. So now you can see the tent is about ready to fly away. You got children outside there. Grandpa is outside there. And in the grandfather, when he woke up, 他醒过来, it was already too late. 已经太迟了, 太晚了. He grabbed at the wildly flapping tent. Okay, can you imagine this? The wind is blowing and the tent is going, oh, like this, you know, and Grandpa, he's trying to grab the tent, And then he makes a discovery. It's almost blowing away. Flapping tent. Flapping this is what's happening. Flapping in the wind. And it's blowing back and forth. Okay? And then he made a discovery. Next. He didn't have his pants on. 他忘记穿上他的裤子. Now, remember, maybe nowadays we wouldn't think that's so important, but he was from 东南部美国 非常规规矩矩的 No pants, 没有裤子 no good. Just that simple. Okay? He didn't have his pants on. Going on. Flashes of lightning. Okay? 闪电 Okay? 一闪闪电 Okay? 显出来 Grandfather desperately 用力尽量要怎么样 Trying to put on his pants and still hold on to the tent at the same time. 同一个时间啊. Oh, very, very difficult. And all the time, it's 倾盆大雨, it's raining, everybody is getting wet. It's a mess. Absolute mess. Going on. Eventually, I don't have time for the rest of the story. Eventually, they arrived in Oregon and settled. Settled means started to live in a certain place and lived in a little town called Corvallis. Corvallis, okay? So eventually he moved there and he moved to a little town called Corvallis. He set up a business there. I think the name of the business was Builder's Supply. My father eventually became the proprietor, 老板. Okay? Okay, going on to the last one. That's where my father grew up, in Corvallis. He grew up there in Oregon. Oregon is on the west coast. Okay, 美国这个西海岸, right? Okay, and that's where I was born in 1943. Now that is a long, long time ago. 难怪我是老校长, right? No surprise about that. Okay, Mrs. A, we have a couple minutes here. You want to join me here?
Sure.
First of all, do you like to go camping? See, at this point in our program, she doesn't know what I'm going to ask her. So it's always a surprise. Do you like to go camping?
Yes, when the weather's good.
Oh, when the weather is good. Have you ever been camping when the weather wasn't good?
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe over on the Oregon coast? Remember that? One day when you went to Laurelwood?
Yes.
I know your story better than you do. Okay.
I was thinking of another story.
Oh, you were thinking of a different story. Well, I want to tell this story because the weather, the whole school, all the girls in our school, 这个是私立办的一个中学. It was a private high school, and all the 女同学 went over to the west, to the coast. 真正的是海边啊. And on the west coast, it rains a lot, just a lot. And so on that weekend, 那个周末, it rained a lot. Rain. Was it fun camping?
Well, we were inside We weren't outside, as I remember.
So you weren't in a tent. You had to be in a tent.
Well, maybe I was, and it's been a long time.
A long time ago. Okay, so that's your white hair says it's been a long time ago. Okay,
Yes.
okay. The weather was so bad and it was so discouraging, 使人家很灰心的. That what happened?
Half of the girls went home.
Half of the girls, 他们说, I'm leaving, I'm going back to the school. So they went back to the school. Did you go back to the school?
No.
Okay. Now, when you tell me the story, what were some of the advantages of the girls going back to the school?
Well, it gave us a chance to have more fun together, the ones that stayed. And we also got to eat more of those wonderful dessert bars that they had.
So 他们有些甜品啊, and half of the girls, they left, right?
Yes, yes.
So that means you could eat double. Okay.
That's right.
You could eat lots and lots of those. And I think all the girls enjoyed that. So
Yes. But
anyway,
they enjoyed chatting too.
oh yes, because less people, then you get to know people. 更加认识你的同学.
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, well, suggest you try going camping too. But whatever you do, choose good weather because bad weather is not so good. Okay? Okay, well, we got a minute or two here. Let's take a look at how you can write to us. You can write an email, 电邮, to theoldprinciple@gmail.com. 或者你也可以看到我们的网站 www.theoldprinciple.org. Hey, we've had a lot of fun and hope that you will join us next time for another interesting lesson from the Old Principle. Bye-bye.
Bye.